Heidi.
Hey, Janine.
Hi. Great to see you.
Great to see you. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. I have to see. I have to. There's. I know I have to. Is it share the screen that will get me everybody?
No, I would just. You probably have because you're in charge. Are you in charge of the meeting?
Well, I'm presiding.
Okay.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, how are you?
It looks like everybody's coming up at the same time, so that's great. All right.
Good. Good. That's easy then.
Yeah. This will work out. Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Hey, Dan.
So
Hey, Heidi.
I think I need more audio. I think I need to put up the, can I adjust the volume? Maybe here. Yeah, there. Okay.
Yeah, on your own computer, you can.
Okay. Yeah, I just did that. Good. All right. I'm not sure if everybody's going to be here or not. We'll see. How are you, Heidi?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. Everyone's here and the baby's doing well and we're all getting used to our schedule.
Good.
How about you, Janine?
Good. That's great. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Stephanie.
Okay, talk to you later, Kara. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Dan, how are you and your family?
In a new house, so that's
Great.
Hey.
yeah. And actually, Janine, I got questions for you at some point because on the back property is a greenhouse in slight need of repair,
Wow.
but not in bad shape.
That's
Wow.
Great.
I'd love to see it.
That's so exciting. Dan,
Yeah, I have to go in there and clean out the overgrowth that's gone inside, but I'm curious to see how much of it's still in good. Like the glass and structure is all still in good shape. Just needs some TLC. It looks like.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that sounds like fun.
Well, congratulations. That's so exciting. How long have you been in your house?
About 3 weeks now,
Wow. Awesome.
which is why I'm in this white void that's not decorated at all.
That's nice.
So where is it, Dan?
It's on Duane Road, right the road next to Edison Furlong Road off 611.
I got it. Okay. Yep. I had a friend, a colleague who lived on Duane Road for many years. He was our theater director.
Wow.
Dave, I have to remember his name. Dave. Oh, what was his name?
I know Dave. Was he a teacher? Right?
Yeah, he was our theater
Dark
director.
hair?
Dave.
Dark hair?
Try again. Dave.
I can't
What was
remember
his
his name.
name? I can't either. He was a huge Penn State fan, and he and his family would go out to Penn State for home football games. Oh, what was his last name? Dave?
I can't remember, but I know him from Duane Road. We used to talk all the time.
There you go. Yeah, he was on Duane Road
Yeah.
probably for 50
Very
years.
active, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Dave.
I know I have a neighbor named David, but I don't know if it's the same one.
Wow.
I think he was retired a long time before I was. So he's probably late 70s, early 80s now.
Would be
I don't know
about
if
the
he
right
still
age.
lives there.
Wow.
Really?
The one,
Maybe
the
he's
one
still
I'm
there.
thinking
You know
of
where
who
he
also
is?
was a teacher does not live there anymore.
No.
So
Okay. Hey, Jim.
Hi there.
Nice to see you. Hi, good to see you, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
How you all doing?
We're talking about Dan. Dan just moved into a house.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Good for you.
We were talking specifically. It was talking about the greenhouse on the property that is going to be fun to fix up and get running.
You have a greenhouse.
Yeah, as well as a pool that is in dire need of something being done with it.
All right. So you got a project, man.
Cool.
I've got several projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nothing like home maintenance will keep you real busy.
Yeah, I feel like a dad now for like officially. Like, I got to work on the house this weekend.
Yeah, I know. I know that feeling. Hey, gang, listen, let me say that the minutes that went out were from February, and really we need to approve the ones from March. I just sent those to you.
I read them, Jim. I saw them right before I
I
came
just
on.
put it out.
I'm not sure about all the numbers for the bird.
I just put it out.
Can I check on you? Check the numbers. Hey, Andrea. Check with the
hello.
numbers for the Birdtown stuff. Because I have 45
Hi,
boxes
Andrea.
revisited
Oh,
and 8 need replacing.
oh, yeah, please correct the numbers. They could be wrong.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Andrea, how are you?
I'm just
Hello,
looking at
I'm
them
good.
now.
How are you?
Good to see you.
You as well.
Hey, Marty.
Marty, hello. You're getting your dad set up? they're just connecting. Hi, Anne.
Heidi.
Okay, good. They're both getting set up.
I should see everybody at the top. There's you and Jim, Janine,
Marty,
Cool.
hey, Stephanie.
Marty.
Hi, Marty.
I'm
Hi,
here.
Anne. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, nice to see everybody.
Mhm.
Love Zoom. It's so fun.
Awesome. Are we all here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 1,
Mhm.
2,
Yeah, I think we're all here.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're all here, right? That's
You're all
awesome.
there.
Great. It's 7 o'clock. It's 7:01. Jim just sent out the March minutes. If everybody wants to spend a minute just checking this out. First of all, it's really nice to see everybody and welcome.
And
Marty, are you
Janine,
hearing us?
yeah, Janine, I just want to let everyone know that under the remote meetings law that has been implemented, this meeting is being recorded, video and sound, and it will be posted on the website sometime tomorrow. Then
Okay.
whoever does your minutes, who's doing minutes, they have to be to me within 48 hours and posted on the website as well.
Within 48 hours?
Within 48 hours.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
I'll do the best I can, but
Jim, is that
I don't
possible
know.
for you?
I'll do
I mean,
the best can.
I don't think anybody will necessarily like come and take us away if we don't get them up till Friday,
They might
but,
be, okay, they might be shorter than average.
and that's fine, you know, keep them simple and, you know, show the action, you should be fine.
Okay, I didn't see that. Oh,
And you want to do this?
thank you.
Andrea, do we know if Jeff Schumacher's going to be here?
I am not aware of him signing on. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going through. All right. All right. Let's get, I'm just skimming. Does anybody see anything that should be changed in the minutes from March?
Just one thing that I saw, which was the number of seedlings. You have 5,600. It should be 500.
Okay.
I mean, that's a typo, I'm sure.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Any corrections?
I didn't see anything.
All right. So let's, first of all, anybody?
No, I'd love
Okay,
all look
we're
good to
good.
me except for that one thing.
Okay, so we're gonna, all right, so let's see if will somebody move to approve the minutes with that one correction?
I move to approve the minutes with the one correction from 5,600 to 500 seedlings.
I will second.
Okay, second.
I'll third.
Okay, I'll approve.
Aye.
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 Yes, okay, everybody. Yes, we're all good. Aye, yes, okay, good. Thank you, Jim, for getting those out.
Yes.
Does everybody have the agenda for tonight? Okay, great. We have the budget. Did everybody take a look at the budget went out? Okay.
We had an expense. I don't know what that was
So we
for,
haven't
though.
spent any.
We've only spent $207, I think, this year.
Which one, Ann?
Right. There's
That's
only
all
one
we've
expense.
spent. And what do you, it's not,
Oh.
yeah, so we have this money that we were going to spend on 10 days for trees. So here we are
Right.
with $5,700, almost $5,800. What do you think, guys? Any discussion about that?
It's going to be hard to spend it when we're not really doing anything. So
What happened? I don't know.
Yeah, there is. I do have on the agenda, I had two ideas. One was the plant brochures. I'd love to get several hundred of those out, but they cost, Andrea, $1. How much
You wanna
per?
No,
What were they?
I would
what
say
did
they're
they
about
cost?
$2 to $4 each.
The brochures?
Each?
I
So
thought
we
I
were
didn't
gonna
know they
get,
were
we
that
were gonna
much.
get
I thought
300,
were-
I think we were gonna get 300 in the next batch. And I can speak more about that when we talk about the brochures, but I would suggest doubling it probably, because I have had some difficulty with the proofs and the printing. And even though it's the same file, it's printing differently because either the transparency or if they have new ink, it's coming out a lot darker. So if we get a good proof where it's a go, so that there's no more time lag, I think we should get more.
Oh, Janine? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
Marty's son here. We lost the video. Do we,
Oh, hi, Mo. Yes,
is that going to be a problem?
you lost the video. Okay.
The video.
Lo,
As
we
long
can
as
see him.
Marty can hear us,
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah, we can see him.
Yeah, that's not
and
a
you,
problem.
Lowell.
We can see him.
We can proceed without you having video.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, I've got an
As long as he
internet
can
connection
hear.
unstable. What's going on here?
Yeah, your camera's
Okay,
frozen at
Marty,
times.
can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. So it's all right if you can't see us as long as you can hear us.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
All right, good. Good. Thank you, Lowell.
You're welcome.
We're talking about these native plant brochures. Andrea, would you give us that figure again? I gotta write that down. How much per brochure?
I'm not exactly sure, Janine, but I know it was about probably like $300 to $400 for about 300 of them. I forget off the top of my head because I ordered them so long ago what the money wise. But I can get the exact number and email it out. But yeah, it's around $300 to $320, something along those lines.
For 300. I thought it was about $1 each.
For how many? For 300? Yeah, about $1 each. Okay.
Okay.
I would love to have a ton of those to give out. Remember that, and I'm talking about this now because it's a budget item. I know we could talk about it later, but I think we need to approve the expense of getting several hundred of these brochures. Remember that one of the things we wanted to do with them was to put one in every newcomer packet. The township gives new residents that nice folder with lots of information, and we wanted to put the native plant brochure in those. Now, I don't know how many newcomers we're having right now, but it would be nice to have a pile for those, a pile for each of us, because I'm sure we have people we can give them to. And it would be really nice to be able to put brochures back at the Environmental Education Center in that box. So what do we think, guys? How many do we want to order?
I think at least 500 to 1,000.
We've got money now. We might as well do it.
Makes sense to me.
It's a timeless thing. I mean, it's
Yeah,
timeless. It's not going to get outdated and then anytime soon. So I think, since we have the money and the need, we might as well go ahead and spend it.
I agree,
What was
Heidi.
the
Yeah.
estimate cost?
It's a dollar a
I
piece.
think it's $1.20 per,
Was
as I
that right?
remember.
Okay,
Okay.
I know you gave it to us,
Does
Andrea.
anybody object to our ordering?
No, I'd be fine with that.
Would
I mean,
any object to our ordering 1,000 of them? What was that?
no, I said I would be fine with
I
ordering
missed
them.
something.
1,000 of them would be about $1,200. That's a lot of money for brochures, but
It is.
but
That's why I said 500 to 1,000.
yeah, I'd be unless there's a real economy of scale, I'd be more comfortable with 500.
500 sounds like a good
Okay.
number.
Anybody else?
Andrea, do you know, does the price go down significantly if
Okay.
you buy more than 500?
No.
Okay, so I would be more comfortable with 500, to be honest, and see how fast they go.
I also, but while we're thinking about expenses, and we do have all these trees set aside for 10 days for trees. Are we going to be putting any trees in it at all this year? even though we didn't have the event?
That's a good question. That would be, I think, Stephanie.
I guess do you actually have the tree? Do we have the trees? Did they end up getting purchased or
I don't know.
they donated?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. I mean, if you want the trees put in, we can
Okay.
talk to Dave about doing them in another time.
The only, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
I did see Denise Cezak right before the shutdown, and she said she was very nervous about what was going to happen, as everybody is. But she asked if we were going to plant the Fool's Corner this year, and at that point we had talked about maybe moving it to the fall, doing it in September or something like that. And she said, I would recommend doing that because I don't know if Bucks Beautiful will still be viable next year. We have guaranteed you $1,500 this year. We will honor that. I can't necessarily honor it next year. So
if they're available,
just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I would shoot for the fall. That would probably be the best thing to do, is try to do a tree planting in the fall.
That may not be a public event. Is that what you're thinking?
So
It will have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to, and I have information to address one of your questions later in the agenda, Janine.
So I'm sorry, Stephanie.
okay.
I think we should definitely plant some trees.
Let's finish with the budget.
Well, no, this was part of the budget.
Yeah, but we don't have to pay for it. So,
I just wanted to mention the
I'm
trees.
sorry, say that again, Heidi.
For the trees, is the $1,500 then, and coming just from Bucks Beautiful to pay for those trees, or is it coming out of our budget as well?
Nothing's coming out of EAC's budget. What ended up happening was Bucks Beautiful pledged $1,500, the township pledged $1,500, and the borough pledged $1,500. So we had $4,500 to spend on the Pools Corner planting.
Okay.
I'm assuming that the township and the borough would still honor their commitment also, but again, I can't speak for them. And I'm just passing along what Denise said to me, that she is concerned whether Bucks Beautiful will even exist next year.
Right, so I mean, I think we should definitely move forward with the trees for the fall. So it doesn't really take anything out of our budget, but we do have money. So $4,500 from those three different entities covers how many trees? Like 25 trees for Pools Corner?
I think it was about 22 trees. There were also some other expenses, and then we were going to hold back a little bit in case there was trees that didn't survive, that we would have some money to replant anything that needed to be redone.
Okay, so I'm just thinking that, if we do have some excess money in the our budget, as the year goes on, maybe we can put more money towards trees. I mean, just even though we didn't have the 10 days for trees, it's still, I think it's very important to add more trees to our township, no matter what. And it could be always advertised in Bucks County Herald, it could be a Facebook thing that we still move forward and beautifying our community and working towards climate change, something like that.
Well, I totally agree. Again, I'm not sure whether it could be a public event or not. I mean, I guess that there's a lot of what ifs here.
Well, it doesn't need to be a public event. We can still do it and make it, we can not advertise, but we can communicate via the news, write a nice news article about what we had planned to do and then what we still followed through with, and that we hope to do something next year, something like that.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Anyway, so Janine, I just was bringing that up because it is part of the budget.
So as far as let's then decide. We have some money in our budget, and let's decide then. Let's decide what we're going to spend money on and how much. May I have a motion to spend money on brochures? 500 brochures. We need to approve that expenditure.
I make a motion to spend I make a motion to purchase 500 or have 500 copies made of our native plant brochure.
I second that.
I have a question with that.
Okay.
So originally,
Okay, second question.
we were getting is this still including the original 300 purchase that's like in the works right now, or is this 500 in addition to the ones that we approved to order at our last meeting?
This is in addition to.
So
I think what we just did was, did we just add 500 then, or is it a total of 500?
That's the question.
What are we doing here?
I think we should add 500.
We're
So it should
adding
be,
500.
so it would be a total of 800.
So we'll have 800.
Oh,
I'm
that would
for
be great.
I would love to see.
So, so that was the
So
motion,
300
the motion
and-
then
and
to,
then
you know,
55.
purchase 500 more brochures to have them copied for the native plant brochure, which then would be a
Okay,
total of
500 more. Jim, are you okay with that?
Yes, yes, that sounds.
Jim,
fine.
you okay with that?
Yep.
And Jim, did you second?
Seconded. All right,
I-
all
I
in
did- I did-
favor?
I did second that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're going to buy 500 more native plant brochures. Perfect. Now let's also be clear on buying trees. Okay. So we had set aside $1,500 of EAC budget for trees. I don't think we need to vote on that, do we? I mean, we had that money set aside, but we're saying that we would like to plant trees in the fall if we can, using our 1,500.
No.
And
No,
if
no, Janine, no, we actually didn't have any money from our budget for that.
Correct.
Ann, can you explain that again?
The money's coming from Township, not
Oh.
EAC.
Yeah, it was township money. Okay,
Right.
so
And
this
then Borough
really,
and then Bucks Beautiful. Right.
and that's beautiful. All right, so we really don't have to continue talking about the budget unless somebody else has something up. I did add recycling magnets under the budget on the agenda because we had talked about that. And then Jeff Cogshaw sent us all a note about perhaps talking about a composting advertisement of some kind rather than recycling, because recycling is diminishing, and now with the pandemic, it may diminish even further. I think because we've spent so much time on this already, may I table that discussion about magnets? Would you mind if we do that?
Janine, the magnets are created and ordered and they're here. We have them. Because that was determined at our last meeting.
I didn't realize that.
We had already moved forward with purchasing the magnets previously.
Great.
That's
So I
already-
have them in the office.
Okay.
They're really
So we have them.
cool. I don't think we got a lot of them because I don't want to further to
You
discuss.
got
I'm
50,
sorry.
I think.
Yeah, because we were talking about, are we giving them out for free? You know, and they're kind of expensive, and the idea was to give them out at events and stuff. But I do have them. They're here.
Okay. So that's
think we had
already
voted to
gone. That
get
money,
50.
did we spend that money?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that money has already been spent,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have to discuss that any further. Okay, thank you, Andrea. I don't know how that got past me. Okay, so new business. We have a vacancy on the EAC. Has there been any movement on that?
Dan announces it at every board
Stephanie,
meeting.
has anybody interviewed?
Dan announces it at every meeting, and it's
Dan?
been advertised and it's on the website, and no, we've had no interest. So if
Wow.
you know somebody who
I guess
lives in
we can beat the
township who might-
bushes a little.
Yeah, if you know somebody,
Okay,
tell them to send a letter of interest or
So-
resume like that the board's way.
okay. Okay, so we may then, I guess all of us should try to think of someone that we think might be a useful addition to our team. Okay,
That'd be
thank
great.
you. Compost, sorry. Next under new business is that composting idea that Jeff Cogshaw raised at our last meeting. I'm not sure exactly what we were going to do. Andrea, did we create anything about composting, or did we discuss creating something about encouraging residents to compost?
Well, Andrea did the video.
Yeah,
Yes, there is a video, right?
It's a very simple, we called it, composting 101, 101. And it's just the kind of the overall idea of composting. But I am working on kind of a second portion of it that goes a little more into detail. And then creating with the same information, some flyers too, that we could, you know, put on social media, have at our events, things like that, and on our website.
Dude, what would happen if you go back and,
So there will be a flyer in addition to the video,
yeah,
Hmm.
you want to do that, you're going to
Yeah.
miss something.
correct?
You wanna tell
Yes, I'm
Okay,
working
great.
on
All
some
right.
materials for
Okay,
that.
good. Thank you for
Janine,
Can I
the
interject here?
video looked really nice.
I don't know
I'm
that
glad
you
we're
hear
going
me.
to the
Janine.
flyer.
Janine,
Yes,
I'm going to shut down
yes, Marty.
and go
Yes.
try to get a picture.
We're just going to reboot.
We're going to resume.
Oh, okay, okay,
Oh,
reboot.
resume.
Okay,
I like that.
okay, resume. That's great. Thanks. Okay. Okay, come right back.
Yeah.
Can I say something here
okay.
since we're on the topic
Anyway,
of
back to the
composting?
composting. Thank you.
Since we're on the topic of composting,
Sorry, I didn't get.
sorry. A faculty member at Del Val reached out to me because yesterday, a grant was announced. It was a community compost and food waste reduction grant for local governments. And this particular faculty member is interested in potentially in finding a local government or municipality to partner with on this pilot program. So if you guys are interested, I will send out the information, and I will share with him that we potentially have interest in that.
I would say so. I mean,
Yeah, it's a USDA
Sounds
grant.
interesting and good.
I think it'd be perfect.
and
Okay.
okay. And can you just give us a
Yes,
brief idea of what
good.
would be involved? I mean, Tanya, do you know what would be involved?
I haven't had much of a chance. He just reached out to me earlier. It supports projects led by local governments that generate compost, increase access to compost for agricultural producers, reduce reliance on and limit the use of fertilizer, improve soil quality, encourage waste management and permaculture business development, increase rainwater absorption, reduce municipal food waste, and divert food waste from landfills. So it's pretty broad.
Wow, that sounds
I
great.
think there's a lot of leeway there.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Would you send us that information then, Tanya, and we'll take a good look at it and further discuss it in June? Does that sound good?
When's the deadline?
I have a feeling he's going to want to reach out to somebody before then because the grant is due in June.
Yeah. And is there?
Oh, it's due in
when
June.
in June? Yeah.
June, it's by midnight, June 26th.
Okay. The Board of Supervisors, is there like resolutions that have to be approved by the board, things like that? What's the amount that is it a matching grant? Do we have to put money up for it? What's that situation?
I really don't know. He just sent it to me recently.
It's
So I
okay.
will.
Have him send it and communicate with Andrea. I'm going to raise a concern in terms of like food. I'd want to know more about the food waste and whether our compost site would then have food products in it and whether, how that's controlled. Want a better understanding of that.
So I'm going to forward to you what he sent to me, if that's helpful
sure.
to Andrea, and I'll
Give us a
include
link to him, and we can reach out and see if it's something that we can, participate in.
Okay.
Is it something that would be done on township property or on Del Val property?
Or on individual homeowners' properties.
Oh,
I
that,
think it'd
right.
be home. I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I should have come better prepared, but I didn't have a chance to really read through.
It's
the
okay.
details.
It's okay.
I finished my meetings today at 6:15 and then quickly had dinner and then came here.
Oh, it's fine.
And this was just today.
We'll all have a chance to look at it then.
Okay.
Yeah, send it to all of us and we'll all take a look. Proceed from there. Yeah, I can't wait to see the details. Wouldn't that be interesting to partner with Del Val and encourage composting through an even larger venue? I mean, that sounds pretty cool to me. Thank you, Tanya.
Just so you know,
next under new business, it says, I'm sorry, Tanya. I didn't
just
hear
to
you.
quickly say his interest is in a
Okay.
negative. Oh, there's a lag. Forget it.
Just send it. It'll be fine.
I'll just send it. I'll just send it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Sent.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Does, next under new business, we never talked about our joint meeting with Parks and Rec in March because we didn't see each other in April. Does anybody have anything to say about that meeting or follow-up ideas?
Janine, was the strategic plan sent to the folks that they asked for? There was two, I forget the names of the two women. Karen and another lady asked for us to share our strategic plan with them. Did you send it to them?
I don't
It
think,
was
I don't
probably
know. I
Kathy
have no
Brown.
idea. I don't-
Kathy Brown and Karen. I don't have their emails. Can you do
It would
that?
be Kathy Brown. Yeah, I'll send her the strategic plan. I don't know if I did or not. I
Okay.
have no memory of it, so I probably did not, but
Okay.
I'll do that. So strategic plan to Kathy Brown.
And
I
also
can
to
do
Karen.
that.
And Karen.
And to Karen Sweeney.
Yes. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
got it. I don't know if I did or not. I could have. If I came home and looked at my notes and did it, maybe I did it, but I don't
No.
remember.
We didn't have the
Um,
strategic plan
I'm
up to date yet.
scattered. I don't know about the rest of you. Say that again?
I said the strategic plan wasn't up to date at that time. So when we updated it, you and I were going back and forth with it. It really wasn't really done until April. So, please definitely send it to them because if they didn't get it,
Oh, okay, so I know I didn't, right.
you didn't. Okay,
Okay,
great. Thanks so
okay,
much.
so I know I didn't send it. All right, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, yeah, no, I'll get that out. Okay, under subcommittee reports, how about Ready for 100? Jim, Tanya, Heidi?
Oh,
Okay, so we've
Last
had,
time we talked, we said that there was,
yeah, we've had meetings now twice by Zoom, March and April. And we've made an effort to increase attendance and the numbers are increasing.
Mhm.
So the meetings are happening and there's I think a lot of energy, at least within a small group of us. Buckingham's been very involved, Salisbury's been very involved, Warrington's been involved. So we're trying to keep that moving forward. Now, I think we also created some goals, and I actually I'm not prepared. I should have circulated those, but we did agree some goals, which involve the number of municipalities which pass resolutions to commit to the Ready for 100 goals, and then the number of communities that would have an energy audit over time, and then the number of communities that would actually develop an energy transition plan. So I can share those after the meeting, or I can post them somewhere. I should have thought to bring those. So it continues to move forward. The Southeast Pennsylvania group has created a template for energy transition. It's a very interesting template. We went through it the last meeting. Steve Nelson, who is a municipal planner by training, went through it and talked about what he thought was good and so on and so forth. There's actually going to be a kickoff meeting, sometime in the next couple of weeks, to talk about how municipalities can implement this transition plan. The idea here is that if you follow this transition plan, then it would be essentially volunteer driven. So in other words, individual communities would create a steering committee, and the steering committee would have to do a lot of legwork, working with the township to fill in this gather all the data and then evolve this transition plan. That's one way to go forward. There are some limitations to that. Certainly volunteers probably don't have enough experience to create a really solid transition plan. Whereas if you hired a professional energy planner, then they would know much more of the ins and outs of these things and could perhaps give you a different perspective. So one option might be that volunteers populate the data, gather the data, and then you perhaps bring in a professional energy transition consultant to help you refine the plan before you implement. So that's one way we might go forward. Another way might be to engage, Villanova University has a group called the RISE Forum, where they actually get graduate students in environmental science to actually devote time to a project like this. And it's not a lot of money. It's about $10,000 to get a group for a semester. And I think a group of students working under a faculty member could do a lot of work in a semester on a plan like that. So that might be another option. I think the big picture item here, as far as I'm concerned, is do we want to go alone or do we want to try to aggregate with other communities? And my personal feeling, and I'll ask Tanya and Heidi to weigh in as well. I think there's a general feeling that if we give this a little more time, I think we'll see Soulbury come on board. I think we'll see Buckingham come on board. I think we may see the borough come on board and some others. And then you start to get, economies of scale, and you can start to share the expenses. So I would like to pursue this idea of an energy transition plan, and I'll listen into the call in the next couple of weeks. But I guess my first thought would be that maybe if we gave this a little more time and see which other communities come on board, then we could think about maybe sharing the load, and pooling our resources to do this in a regional fashion rather than individually. So that would take some time. That won't happen. Probably won't happen this year, but it could happen. We could start to have perhaps some work towards a plan perhaps early next year, as if we can get a few communities to to pass resolutions. So let me just be quiet now. Heidi, Tanya, you've been in these meetings. What's your feedback?
I agree with you, Jim. I think we should give it a little bit more time for other folks to come on, and maybe it depends on how quickly they move. I know Soulbury is moving pretty quickly with it. It's possible we could have it, maybe starting to put together a team by the end of the year is my hope. I would really like to see it by 2020, but it just depends on how the groups move. But you've done a great job organizing this, and you too, Tanya. I've just been on the back, admiring and appreciating and supporting what you guys are doing. Tanya?
Yeah, I agree with Jim. The energy transition plan, the template, I think is helpful to at least get an idea of what's going to be expected, what type of information we're going to need, but it would be a lot of work for a volunteer group.
Yeah, that's a problem. It is a lot of work. Yeah.
And we don't have the expertise either,
That's right. And Stephanie, of course, it would obviously the township would have to put in, a lot of effort too. And so before we dive into anything, we need to probably talk to you and Dave about, resources to start populating a plan. So I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we are still gathering information, and we're gathering critical mass, and we're building enthusiasm. So I think it's moving, but I don't think we're ready to pull the trigger on implementation until we have more critical mass.
And we'd be happy to share if you're interested in seeing the template, we'd be happy to share that.
One thing that did come up though in the template is one of the things that it strongly recommends, and I think this makes a lot of sense, is for the township to develop to create a steering committee of some kind. So that could be the EAC, it could be a subgroup of the EAC, it could be a separate group. I don't think we have to make any decisions today, but we should maybe think about, if we want to create a steering committee that can devote more dedicated time to this. One of the other fellows in the group does live in Doylestown Township, and he's been very, very active at the meetings. Kurt Sawyer, he's been terrific. He's maybe somebody we could maybe bring into a steering committee, but that's not to decide tonight. But
He's my neighbor.
Is he Kurt?
Yes.
Oh, he's been great.
I have known his wife since we were teenagers.
Oh, wow.
Does he want to join the EAC in our open spot?
I was thinking about that too. I could maybe pose that to him. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Good.
It'd be a good addition. Yeah.
It would be.
Okay.
Well,
So would his wife, by the way. She's very good, Gardner.
Okay.
Well, maybe they'd like to come to our June meeting.
I can mention that. Sure.
Yeah, maybe invite them, maybe both of them, and see what they think. It sounds like the Ready for 100 then initiative is moving along. Jim, is there another meeting scheduled soon?
It's the first Wednesday of every month.
Mhm.
And we're doing it by Zoom. That's working well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Just real quick, I think Anne and Jim and myself should reach out to Kurt I think if all three of us do it separately and, encourage him to sign up, that would be more likely to do it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know if we need to gang up on him.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, if you know him well, why don't you just mention it to him?
I will.
Why don't you mention it to him? Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like it when a prospective member comes to a meeting, sees what we do, sees what we talk about, meet this person. I don't know him at all. It doesn't matter that I don't know him, but I like that as a first step.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Throw it
idea.
out there. Maybe he'll
And
join.
And let me just put this out there. He has probably a little different perspective. I know a lot of us are, a lot of you are master gardeners or arborists or naturalists. I'm not. I'm more of from a scientific background, but I actually think it might be nice to have somebody with a perspective. I don't know his background. I think he might be an engineer or a finance guy. He knows finance very well. So that's a different perspective. When it comes to some of these other issues that we have to deal with, like the cost of energy transition or some of these budget matters, it might be nice to have somebody with a different skill set. So just put that out there.
Sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
I agree.
Excellent. I mean, we need multiple perspectives, and I do think that we're heavy on plants.
Yeah.
I hope.
Nothing wrong with that, but
That's not a bad thing, no.
Not a bad thing, but okay. Thank you guys. About ready for 100. How about Birdtown?
So Birdtown, we didn't have our meeting in March because of COVID, but I've been working with Stacy and Lee Altadonna about still, putting Birdtown together and keeping it alive and well. So we, came together with Bucks County Audubon, put a four-part plan together, including a Facebook page, an annual summit every year, a resources page, and also continuing the bird habitat recognition program. So we came up with that idea. We put it back to Audubon PA because they're the ones that were like being wishy-washy about the program, and they've decided to embrace it. And I just got a nice email a couple days ago from Val Peckman from Audubon PA, and we're having a big meeting tomorrow, and I got a nice summary and what their plans are, and it looks even more impactful. I'm very excited about it. So as soon as things have been decided, I will share that with you guys. The Birdtown looks like it's gonna be alive and well and actually a stronger program in the end.
Wow, that's great.
So it was resurrected.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, I'm really happy to hear that.
Yep, and as far as the bluebird boxes, Jim has been working a little bit on them. I have 8 that still need replacing. I know Jim's done a couple of them. I have boxes in my garage that have not been taken out because I haven't had any help. It's been really crazy here with my family and my husband being sick and working like a crazy person. So as soon as we can have some time, hopefully this weekend, we'll work on some bluebird boxes.
Yeah, I was going to replace the one by the pond, the retention basin near the native plant garden. I have a box I can put up there
Okay.
these days. Yeah, unless I'm not allowed. I'll do it as a private individual. I won't do it as a EAC member. Stephanie, you didn't hear that.
I think we have to hear from Stephanie on that. That's actually
No, I think it would be best if you have the box to talk to Chris Mason, who's in the, Public Works Park Superintendent. It would probably be best to do that. That's a liability. You're near the pond, etc. Okay.
Okay.
all right.
Thank you. That's all for Birdtown. I'll keep you posted about it, what, further developments.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. Environmental Education Center, I did send everyone a note about not working in the garden. There are some people who chafed at that note. I got 2 emails that were saying, well, why can't we? And I had to explain it's a township liability issue, and we're volunteers, and that's that. We also, but the garden looks good because there was some guerrilla gardening that went on during early April. There were some people who did show up and did some work.
Yeah. So let me tell you some good news. Okay. When the county goes to yellow, okay, community gardens, you'll be able to open up, obviously maintaining 6 feet social distancing between the members when they're out there. They have to be like assigned. We need to know who's there. And they can only be in 2-hour work shifts. okay, in windows of 2 hours. They can't be there more. They have to wear gloves, masks, and they cannot share tools.
Okay.
Okay. Under yellow, there's a whole thing. I'm kind of giving a preview. The board will see it Tuesday night, but the Pennsylvania Parks Recreation Society has been working with the, state and health department and national Parks and Rec and the county Parks and Rec, association that Karen belongs to. Karen's been heavily involved in this. And basically, doing the red, yellow, green situation, they've created like a whole list on like every single topic. But I wanted to share with you that looks like what will be for when we go to yellow. Okay. So
will you send that to me, Stephanie? Would you send me that list of guidelines?
When it's finalized, it's not
Okay.
finalized yet. That is, I'm kind of giving you a sneak peek of what we believe will be the final list. They're still kind of working on it at the state level and everything. And they've, like I said, they've gone national, that everybody's sharing data and information. But that's kind of the way they're, in terms of like community gardens, I'm putting the native plant garden in that kind of category because it fits. And I just want to give you a sneak peek to sort of give you something to kind of smile about and something to look forward to.
Okay, thanks. That would be so great. The guidelines don't sound that different from the Penn State Cooperative Extension guidelines for community garden work. They
probably worked with them to obtain, everybody's been, that's the nice thing about all this is like any and all groups have been sharing information nonstop, because we're all in it together. And I mean, my colleagues across the country and internationally, everybody shared data and shared information and ideas and, stuff like that. So, all of our different industries are doing that, and which is good. That's all positive. So I just wanted to kind of give you, there's a little glimmer of hope, Janine.
Thank you, Stephanie. The garden. People send me pictures. Some of the garden is blooming beautifully. So it looks, from a distance, it looks really good. I've only walked by it twice in the last 2 months because I'm really staying home. But people are sending me pictures. I guess some of you have been there maybe, and some of you have seen pictures. It actually looks beautiful. A lot is blooming. So
It does.
Yeah, it's good. So the new display case at the Environmental Education Center. Andrea, would you tell everybody what's going on with that?
Sure. We have Chris Mason and Karen agreed upon a sign with Dave, and we have moved forward and purchased a message board, which is the same as the other ones that we have around the park, so it's all uniform. It's a medium-sized message board, so it's not going to be overwhelming, but it's, we will have only a certain amount of corkboard space to put some of our stuff. The other thing we need to, I guess, determine is how we're going to incorporate the Edgar Putnam name. So I did mock up 2 examples, one that had maybe some kind of laser cut metal sign kind of hanging on the bottom, and then another one where we could more easily and probably less expensive put it inside the display case, kind of as a header to the corkboard, but that would then take up our corkboard space. So I think our best option is when we get the message board to see what it actually looks like and see the size in person, and then get some cost estimates for if we were to do, a metal laser cut sign, which I think would look really, really beautiful, and see how much it would cost, and then maybe get a mock-up and go from there.
Okay, so it's moving along. At our last meeting, there was some confusion because someone said there was actually a display case or a message board that was already ordered, but that's not the case then. what we're doing now is waiting to see the medium-sized board that's been ordered. Am I right? And
Well, we ordered it, so that's
Yeah.
the medium-sized board is the one that we're going to have installed. But in terms of how we're going to incorporate the name,
right.
you know, is something that you guys can decide. I think that we have two options.
Right.
So if we look at what they look like and then what the cost would be, then you can decide which one you'd rather have.
So my question is, will it be installed sometime soon then, since it was ordered? Do we have a
Yes.
timeline?
I would have to double check with Chris Mason. But I'm pretty sure that you and him discussed where you wanted it installed, correct? So he knows the location.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So I'll check with him tomorrow
Okay.
to see when it's estimated to get here and then when he thinks he could install it. I know that, you know, the parks guys are, you know, busy with other things as well. So I'll check up with him and see when he plans to do that.
Okay, thanks. I'm excited that we're going to have a message board down there. That's going to be terrific.
Me too. I think and I like where it's going to be because it's right in front of the garden and it's also near the pathway. So it won't be hidden away. It's going to be in a perfect spot and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. If anybody else wants to go look at it and discuss how we're going to incorporate the Edgar Putnam name, just let me know, because it shouldn't just be me. We can all take a look at it and say, okay, this is what we like best, because I think it's going to be a great addition to the area. Of course, we didn't have our invasive plant workshop in the spring. Maybe we'll be able to do one in the fall. Our fall workshop will still be the burning bush workshop because it's so easy to see then. And last year, I felt that burning bush invasive workshop was really successful. People learned about it. We took out quite a bit of it. And I'm hoping that we can do that maybe in October.
I just wanted to mention to you, if we can, maybe we could do something virtually. For example, I just put a citizen science program together for Bucks Audubon, and instead of having the event in person, we did it virtually, and it worked really well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So something to think about. Maybe you and I can put our heads together if this continues on, and things don't normalize. We could always maybe do something virtually instead.
Okay, that's a neat idea. I'm just making a note of that. So perhaps if we can't do a real workshop, we'll have a virtual workshop. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do. Heritage Tree Program is on the list tonight. I don't know if anybody has asked for a tree to be looked at. Marty, did you ever hear from anybody about a possible heritage tree?
No, I haven't heard a word.
Okay. Maybe we need to put a note somewhere on the website. There is something there, isn't there, Andrea, about heritage trees?
Yeah, there is a blurb on the website.
Yeah.
And I believe typically they call the township and then we hook, the township hooks Marty up for it.
So right now it's just pending, just on hold, like everything else. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't got any new calls, but.
Okay. Okay. Strategic plan review. Heidi sent this out in April, and she and I went back and forth, and I have mine right here. And I'll be sending it to Karen and to Kathy. Does anybody have anything else to add, or are there any questions about our strategic plan as it stands now?
I have to admit, I have not had a chance to look at it, so I apologize for that.
I can send it back. I put a little review together on April 10th. I sent it out to you guys. So
it was good.
Thanks. I can resend it again. I mean, obviously some things are going to be different because of the pandemic. We're not going to be able to move forward on a number of things.
Right.
That's okay. We'll just leave it on the strategic plan and, keep it on the list and we'll review it and, do it as we can.
Okay.
Okay.
So Heidi, I'll wait to get that resend before I forward it then.
Okay.
With a note, and I'll write them a note about it that, this is as good as it's going to get right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Ongoing business, single-use plastic survey. Did I see that we had 200 responses?
Yes, we have 200, hold on, I just went 269 responses.
Okay.
So we have, we still have it on the website. It's also, we've pushed it on social media, and I can do that, once again. So we're still running the survey, but, I'm not sure how much everybody, is going to do it, even though we push it out. So I'm not sure. I think it's been running for about 3 months now. So I'm not sure if we have a end date that we want to select, or if we just want to keep, running it. It does cost us money monthly to run it.
Well, I thought we said we would run it until Earth Day.
We did.
I'd be curious. I mean, obviously it's not a huge number, but I would still be interested to see,
What the responses are.
What the responses are.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I think maybe it's run as much as it can run at this point.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, especially.
Okay, great. So
It'd
I
be
can.
good to know what the response is, yeah. And,
So-
people are really distracted now. They're probably not going to do that, so.
I agree. So what I can do is I can end the survey, and SurveyMonkey gives a summary. So would you like me to come or email that out to everybody, or would you like me to kind of compile something and then talk about it at the next meeting, or send it out?
How about both?
I agree. I think both. I think we need, to have as much information as we can so we can have a good discussion about it at the next meeting.
Great,
Okay,
sounds good.
Good. So we'll get the data and we'll put that on the agenda for the June meeting. Okay, so we're getting data from SurveyMonkey and you're going to send it out to everybody. Okay, got it. And that's on the June agenda. Cool. Okay, it's going to be interesting to see what people said. I have a question here. What's next for the EAC page in the Township newsletter? Heidi, were you going to write something about pesticides?
Honestly, it's not in my bandwidth right now. I have too much going on with being
Okay.
a grandma right now, and
Bag it.
I
Bag
can't
it.
do it. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Is there going to be a
any-
newsletter?
I was assuming that
I mean, I do need to speak with Stephanie about that. I have the newsletter starting to work, but unfortunately some of the content is still a little up in the air because we're not sure, we're not talking about our leaf and yard waste because unfortunately, it's not happening. But, we still have budget things to, discuss with residents, and there's still things that the township is continuing to do despite COVID-19. So we still have important information to get out to the residents,
Okay.
despite everything. So,
When if we're going to write something for the newsletter, when does it need to be in?
typically end of May. I did get an article from Heidi though about meadow management, which I believe we talked about putting in this one.
Okay,
So
okay.
if you guys, want to, and it's a very good article and you had a photo and everything. So if we want to, go with that, I think that would be fine unless you have another idea to add.
Well, I was just going to say that we're trying to, again, we're going back to Ready for 100. We're trying to get the word out. Actually, we're going to probably maybe try to do a press release, to the intelligencer and the Herald. But maybe, if that's of interest, maybe that's something we could put in the township newsletter as well. But it doesn't have to be this month. So I'll just put that out there that maybe in the future we could just describe Ready for 100.
Jim, if you just wanted to do a brief article on Ready for 100, sort of that the board adopted it and, just in a,
summarize
what does it mean? What does it do?
Okay. For
kind of thing.
this newsletter or for a future one?
You can do it in this one.
All right. So
If you
when
can
you
get
say
it to her
briefly,
by the end of May.
you mean like a couple hundred words at the most?
Yes.
Yeah, like 300.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that.
Keep it simple, keep it short. Yeah. Okay.
Is it possible to have the meadow management article in as well?
Definitely.
Let's do it. All right, we'll have an introduction to Ready for 100 and we'll have the meadow management. It's a great follow-up to the workshop that happened in February. And this is what we need to do next is outreach to the community. So I think that's really wonderful. And it already exists, right?
Yeah, I was going to just say, I would like to update the meadow management because there has been some bobolink that are actually nesting at Bradford Dam as well as meadowlark. So Andrea, I'll send you an update of what is actually happening since the reduced mowing in our county already.
Awesome, great. I look forward to that.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, that's really, yeah, you know, and wouldn't it be fun to have a picture of a meadowlark and a picture of the bobolink? And, you know,
I'll see what I can do.
we have them on the sign that we made.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
remember he said we could only use them for the sign. We asked him that.
Oh, well, maybe we can find a public use picture of a meadowlark and.
I can do that. I can find a picture.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I'm
would
sure
be,
we could
that would
find
be
something.
cool. You know, pictures say so much. And these
They
are
do.
birds that are actually at Bradford Dam now. They haven't been there forever, but the reduced mowing has brought them back. So that's really, that's a good thing to put into the newsletter.
Is that Bradford in Warrington or is that
Bradford
Pine
and
Run in Doylestown?
It's at Bradford and Warrington.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bradford, yeah. Because the mowing was just reduced there after the meadow management workshop in February. Okay, so EAC Summit Process. I did write something up and Margaret attached it to tonight's packet. It's just a monthly summary of what needs to be done in order to plan an EAC Summit. Nothing fancy. Anybody want to look at it and make comments or changes? It's just March, April, May. This is what should be done in March. This is what should be done in April. This is what should be done in May.
So can I ask, are we planning to go ahead with the summit?
That's the big question. I guess we have to decide that. It's May. Are we going to try to do that in June? A Zoom meeting? Maybe.
Well, I'll just go first maybe. Speaking personally, I don't have any bandwidth to assist with that. So that's my first concern. The second concern I would say is that we're certainly not going to have a face-to-face meeting, so it would have to be by Zoom. And I'm not sure. I think for me, the value is to meet people really know and interact with them. I think it's going to be not quite as impactful. I think if we have to do it by Zoom, because there'll be a lot of people there that I don't really know, and so it's a different kind of a dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look to me, I would probably say that we skip it this year, but that's just my thought.
Does anybody else have a thought about whether we should think about a summit next month?
I think the one issue with doing it over Zoom is that usually in these summits, we break out into groups and we discuss.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And I mean, there are ways to do breakout sessions in Zoom, but it's hard. It's, unless you have someone really moderating and controlling who's speaking, it's difficult. Only one person can speak at a time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I mean, look at us tonight. We have 9 people here, and it's we're still, there's a delay. People. It's awkward, and I agree that part of the beauty of those summits is the interaction, the seeing people face to face, the breakout sessions. I would agree that perhaps this is a year to skip it.
Yeah.
I would say though, if we were to do it, I mean, we could possibly have someone present on Ready for 100 if there was interest for the EA Summit, and then have a board where people could ask questions. That way, there's really mainly one person speaking, and then later on there's questions. I mean, that is an option. But,
Okay.
I mean, we could get somebody from the Southeast Pennsylvania group to speak to the. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. It's not really though the same kind of an affair as the summit we usually hold.
no, it isn't.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Janine.
I was just going to say the Ready for 100 meetings are taking place every month, and I'm sure that you invite other EACs to that. So it would be a little redundant, perhaps, to make that the focus of a summit in June.
I think.
Heidi, what were you going to say?
I was just thinking, like, some of the things that we are trying to move forward, though, are like Ready for 100. It also would be a way to have a touch point with the meadow management too, just to say what happened with the meadow management, encouraging, that thought to continue to, percolate throughout the county, via the EACs as well as Birdtown. So I don't think we have enough time really to pull it together though between now and June, honestly. So maybe something in the fall.
Yeah. And the attendance at the Meadow Management Workshop was so good that a lot of EACs were represented.
They were.
So it's not like they don't know about what happened there.
I'm thinking maybe in the fall, if we know we continue, that we can't really come together as a whole group, not to let a whole year go by. It's a shame because it'll be, you don't want to lose that momentum that we, have been generating.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
I think we should maybe have, discuss this later, maybe in August or something, and just see where we're at with the pandemic. And then
Okay,
maybe
we'll bring it up again. We'll bring it up again then at the end of the summer. And we'll talk about it as a possibility. Who else has some input about this EAC Summit?
I would just like to offer that if we're going to write up for the newsletter a summary of both the meta management and the Ready for 100, couldn't we forward out in an email that information to the other EACs that have been involved? I mean, are we only limited to Zoom?
I don't think we're limited to Zoom, but it would be a way of touching base with other EACs and continuing the conversation about both of those issues.
Right. Because I think people are going to get sort of Zoomed to death.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start logging into all these meetings, it's a little overwhelming and it is awkward. It's not exactly in real time. But at least we could get the information to people. They could share it with their own EACs to let people know that, yes, we're still working on this.
Well, that's what I was saying, like later in the year, like we just had the meeting in February, there were 80 people there. But if we wait till next year, that momentum is going to diminish. And we even haven't had a chance to have a post summary meeting after the event because of Kevin Spencer not being available in the township, or the county rather, because of the pandemic. So we even haven't had to move forward as a committee. So I was just saying, like maybe, later in the summer when things maybe have made some progress, we can reevaluate this and consider doing some kind of an event as, a regional EAC summit.
Let's see how things play out. We'll bring it up again in 2 months. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right. We'll see how things work. We'll see whether we're open for business this year at all. We don't even know. Fingers crossed, but I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not so optimistic about face-to-face meetings happening this year.
Nope.
No.
No.
Okay.
So Marty, you're on the agenda here because you had a concern about the bike and hike path on Cherry Lane, and we haven't discussed it again. On the agenda, it says there was approximately a 1 mile stretch and 30 trees were in the way. And you had a concern about that. How's that going?
I haven't heard a word. I guess since the virus, everything's kind of stopped.
Okay, so the construction of the path has stopped.
Yes, I haven't heard anything.
Okay, Stephanie, do you have any guidance on this?
This is part of the Brooks Track subdivision that's going to take place. It's also part of the Turk Road bike hike plan that the bike hike committee had a grant for in the planning process. Eventually coming, along Pebble Hill Road, coming up East Road. We have a lot of momentum for the trails along there. One of the things we do, and one of the examples that might be worth looking at, is the trail on Iron Hill Road to the backside of the Pine Run. If you see that trail that went through the Brenneman Point subdivision, it weaves through the woodlands. I will speak with Chris Stanford, who's our bike hike consultant, and have him look at that stretch. But, we would want to stay within the road right away, but we would also want to weave a trail through trees and things like that, like we did on Iron Hill Road. And this is the first I'm hearing of this. This was not brought up during the planning process. And it's an approved plan.
Okay,
already.
Marty?
Yes.
But the developer has not started
Okay.
Development escrow agreements or construction yet.
I
there
thought
anything
Marty's
further?
concern was that this was a piece of trail that didn't connect with anything. And so
Well,
we're
it's going
taking out
to.
trees to put a trail that didn't really link.
Well, it's going to link because it's part of a bigger trail plan. That's the whole thing. You have to look at it from the entire trail system. You know, in the last 27 years or so, the township's installed over 30 miles of trail. This section on the Brooks property that comes in will link to trails that will come up through Springs Drive, East Road, tie into the park at Chapman. It will also go Cherry Lane to Pebble Hill Road, and then up Pebble Hill and tie into Doylestown Borough. It will also link to some, basically not quite on Turk Road, but one of the side streets there, and come through a neighborhood and link to the trail that exists on Turk Road and near Bomaka. And will bring you to Central Park and the Native Garden. So it's a big system, and it's going to take several years and lots of grant money to build it.
Okay.
So Marty, your concern was about these 30 trees, and Stephanie, maybe Marty needs to talk to somebody about the trees that he was concerned might have to come down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the best thing. I think I'll reach out to our bicycle planner, our bike hike planner, Chris Stanford from Baker Engineers, and have him look at that concern. But, you know, this is what, I mean, the plan that goes out there is what was reviewed at the Planning Commission meeting, in public meetings, and approved. So,
All right.
you know, it's kind of, you know, hearing about it now, we'll have to deal with, you know, address it and look at ways to.
So if somebody can, yeah.
Are they?
I think Marty, maybe what you have to do is just talk to somebody about the trees that you're concerned with. It's already approved. It's going to be connected to all these other path sections. Would you just take it on yourself then to talk to somebody about these trees?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, because I think that's the way to go, since there's already, you know, it's already in motion. But right now might be a good time because the work is on hold because of the pandemic. I wanted to make sure we address that because it was a concern that Marty brought up at our, I guess it was our March meeting. Okay, thanks Stephanie for your input on that.
Sure, not a problem.
Okay. Memorial tree for Don Richardson. I haven't heard anything further. Has anybody else?
Nothing.
I think I'm leaving.
Bert DeVries was his life partner, and she was going to be, she was going to send some money to the township. Has that happened? I think she was
Not
going
that
to
I'm
send
aware of.
$100.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay, maybe I'll email her then, because the last time I talked to her, she also mentioned that maybe she'd get a bench, and I did tell her that the bench would cost about $2,500, and I didn't hear back. So I'll just give her a gentle nudge, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, the Growing Greener grant application for Sowerman Park pond remediation. Jim, Stephanie told me there was no update as of May 4th. Today is May 12th. Any movement on that?
No.
Any idea when there might be some movement on that?
No.
Okay.
So in other words, we haven't not got it. There's just no information yet.
No information. They have not awarded it. And I think state money might be going to other causes at the moment.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
I did, by the way, I at one of the one of the conferences I was on recently, there's a group called the I want to say it's Friends of Neshaminy Creek, or the Neshaminy Creek Association. Has anybody heard of this group?
I have, but I don't know enough details about it. I might have.
I want to contact that person. They're always looking for projects. Now this pond does connect directly to Neshaminy Creek. I don't know if they have resources or funding. I don't know what they can offer, but I was going to contact them to see if maybe there was a private civic association that maybe would have some suggestions about this. So I'll reach out.
Didn't you hook up with the gal from that group?
Joy,
Did
her
you guys
There's
walk
a
along?
Joy.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, we actually have been in touch with the Neshaminy Creek Watershed Association.
That's it.
Is
Yeah.
that what you're referring
I think
to?
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the founder and director of that is Joyce Ely, Ely.
Right.
And her primary concern so far has been Tyler Park, even though she lives in Doylestown. It wouldn't hurt to contact her about Sowerman Park, but right now, her concern has, as I said, been Tyler Park. A small group of us as watershed stewards were in touch with her. We were hoping that we could do some remediation of Cook's Run, which starts around Font Hill and runs all the way through the borough, the township, and then it empties into the Neshaminy in New Britain.
Okay.
But we were unsuccessful in getting anything going, and now the pandemic has closed everything down. But it wouldn't hurt to call Joyce.
Okay.
I have some contact information. If you remind me, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to send
Okay.
you, I have a number of things. I'm going to email you after this meeting.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Is there anything else from anybody? We're at 8:11. Andrea?
Yes, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did do some work to the EAC page on the township website. So I just did, I mean, everyone's at their computer, so it'd be better for you to look when we get done. But I did break it down into some categories: education, events, our efforts, partnerships, recognition, volunteer. So if you guys have time this week to look, there's boxes with pictures and they link to different pages. And I tried to kind of elaborate on, the things that you guys are doing with Ready for 100, with composting, native plants, trees, pollinators, all the work. So if you guys have time this week to just go to the website, start clicking around, and if you want to write any content for the website, even if it's just, what is composting and here's some resources, and send it my way, I'll be more than happy to upload it. But it's work in progress, and I think it's a good resource for residents and non-residents to go to your page on the website and see, learn about it.
We've
that
been
is
hearing
awesome.
about this new website for a while. It's exciting that it's coming together. That would be a great place for information about meadow management and the
It's on
reduction
there.
of- It is there. Okay.
Great, thank you,
Great.
Andrew.
Yeah, so go on
Yeah.
and look at it.
Yep.
I try to make it so it's more of a place for resources and not just about who you guys are, even though that is on there, but about information, EAC basics, publications, and just make it streamline it a little more.
Looks good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Andrea.
Andrew.
Does anybody else have something else that we should talk about? Maybe we're done early. Nice. Okay. Maybe there's a motion. What was that?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh, thank you, Marty. Okay, second.
I second
second it.
that.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, all in favor.
Bye.
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Stay
Bye.
well.
Thank you.
All right, good
All right,
night, everybody.
Stay well.
Thanks.
I think we did pretty well with our first Zoom meeting.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
It was wonderful to see
Thank-
everyone.
Good.
Thanks, everybody.